Good afternoon, my name is Jordan Lambert, market analyst at Gelatama Management. I'm here today with the gold weekly report. After much sideways action last week, gold ended $20 higher, closing at 1396.4, supported in part by some safe haven demand attributed to the escalating unrest in Egypt and Syria, and also investor diversification amid the uncertainty of how stocks are going to react when the Fed finally announces the first cut to stimulus. US equity indexes have been mostly range bound following the pullback 2 weeks ago, as the prospect of tapering is increasingly likely to occur this September. And this recently has favoured gold as investors spread portfolio risk. On Friday, the precious metal looks set to finish almost flat for the week, until US new home sales disappointed stock markets, creating more demand for gold and sent it soaring $25 within 1 hour. The bullishness had continued through to this morning. The market reached as high as 1406.85 before some profit taking caused the market to drift back towards the 1390s region. Right, let's just take a quick look at the chart. Here I have the daily chart. I'm just going to draw a trend line on the daily chart. I drew this trend line last week as well. A bearish trend that has been broken. So it has recently been broken. So if we zoom in on the 1 hour chart, we can see that this trend line had been broken, this bearish trend line, and price has already bounced off it once. It could bounce off it again, because once a trend line has been broken, it can act as support. Well, bearish trend, if it is broken, it can then act as support. Looks like it already has once. Look to see if it comes back towards this trend line a second time, and it could provide support again. In the near term, we have resistance at 1406.07, which was this morning's high. So as we see the first test of this level, slightly that we'll see some sellers entering the market. If this pattern, however, was a bullish flag, it's likely that we could have seen a new high occur, but it isn't a bullish flag. So if we see price approaching this level, just look for some candlestick reversal information, and it might be good shorting opportunity. Right, so we have support at, let me just zoom out, 1384 was former resistance here. So now that resistance has been broken, again that can now become support. So I'll just change the colour of that so it differentiates it. So the yellow line is support, the green line is short-term resistance. This blue line could also act as support as well. If we look at the 4 hour chart, the medium-term bullish trend line started on the 7th of August at about 1272. This line I drew on Friday. So also be aware that this trend line looks quite strong. It's had three, if you could count that as a fourth touch, potentially 4 touches. So if price drifts back towards this bullish trend line here, we could see a bounce. However, now we have had around 4 touches of this trend line, it is possible that the next attempt could break through. So just be aware of that. So I'm just drawing as many lines, support, resistance and trend lines as possible to determine where price may be rebounding or break through. So that's pretty much the analysis. The Bollinger Bands do not indicate that the market is overbought. Even in the 4 hour, it was overbought, but now it's returned to normality. And in the daily chart also, the Bollinger Bands do not signal that the market is overbought. So we could see some more highs. Just be aware of the resistance here. We also have resistance at about 1422 as well. I'll just colour that green as well. So So yeah, just be aware of resistance of 14.22. Found resistance there in the beginning of June. So yeah, that's pretty much the analysis. Be aware this week we have US durable goods orders, the German IFO business climate survey, US consumer confidence, US pending home sales, and also we have US preliminary GDP. So we have a very busy week in terms of US data in particular. So this market could move substantially. So be aware, have your economic calendar ready. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'll speak to you again for a weekly report, same time next week.